Ruby Search Solutions. The reason I'm here today is that we're looking to grow Ruby Search Solutions, particularly in the sustainability and NGO markets. And some of the expectations that we have for this evening is we're looking for potentially great people to join the business.
The reason why I came is to be updated. I mean, GQ&A is very relevant because real-time bid management is a need.
Hi, my name is Ryan Jared Ali. I run an online store for men, and I'm here today because I think I can grab some insights into the digital world. I think it's always a burgeoning industry, and you always need to stay ahead and know exactly what's happening on the coal face.
Hi everyone. Thank you for that amazing round of applause. I've never felt so welcome at an online event. Thank you. Wow. So welcome to Online Tuesday. It's the first one. Can you have a round of applause? It's the first one on Online Tuesday. My name's Kolbe Seidnote. I'll be your MC for the evening. I'm also a comedian, but if I'm not funny, I'm just an MC. So just tweet that. And speaking of tweeting, we have a hashtag OTSA. So any tweets you make throughout this evening, you can be on your phones. It's fine. No one's going to cuck you out. It's hashtag OTSA, which stands for Online Tuesday SA. Not sure what that part stands for. And then, it's a joke. Didn't work. And then the Twitter handle, I think is what you call it, is at Online Tuesday SA. If you want to tweet at them is the term. You tweet at them. You don't tweet for someone, you tweet at them. But you would know that if you were an online person. Also, there's no Wi-Fi here because we decided it's a free event. So screw you. Like, we're not going to give you Wi-Fi. And also, if you're at an online event without data, you should probably leave because you don't know what the hell's going on. Like, so you're all online. I'm not an online person. I kind of have to be for comedy reasons. I have to tweet where my gigs are. But like, online people generally are the most irritating people, especially to have arguments with, because they're just like, let's settle this with Google. Google will decide who's right. The Red Bull girls, shame. They've been like walking around, hi, would you like a Red Bull? Hi, would you like a Red Bull? No, I'm joking. They were actually like, hi, would you like a Red Bull? That's how they speak. Hi, would you like a Red Bull? And everyone's like, yo, what do you have? We have regular, sugar-free, cranberry, blueberry, and lime. I had to memorize that just for this joke. Regular, sugar-free, cranberry, blueberry, and lime. Everyone's like, which one's the healthiest? I don't know, ma'am. Okay, don't worry. Which Red Bull is the healthiest? Just hold on. Fucking MTN. Okay, yeah, I'll have a cranberry, please. I was always like, really, Google? Surely sugar-free is the... Anyway, that's not for me to decide. So I'm Afrikaans. Do we have any Afrikaans people here? Hey, we just discovered online like 5 years ago. We're like, what is die? Hier is bevolk. Wow. Facebook. And English people, and the rest of the white people, you are what? Xhosa. Because there are some white people didn't put up their hand, and I'm wondering what you are. I'm Afrikaans, and it's tough being Afrikaans in Cape Town, because Cape Town's a very English city, and English people think we are dumb, okay? And it's really starting to piss me off, English people, because you know what you guys do? You don't have the guts to come say it to our face. You make it, like, really subtle. Like, I was in a restaurant the other day, I asked the waitress, what can you recommend? She goes, well, we have really nice gourmet burgers, you know, fancy burgers. I was like, screw you, I know what gourmet means, thank you very much. I ordered one, I said to her, actually, I'll have a gourmet burger, thank you. I'll have a gourmet burger and a Savannah with a slice of sour lemon, thank you very much. All the Afrikaans people go, ja, sour lemon, carry on, skalk, sour lemon, Johan, ek vang het nie. What comes after the sour lemon? Another horrible assumption horrible assumption that people make about Afrikaans people is that we're racist. It's also not true. Okay, Steve Hofmeyr, he doesn't count. Because Steve Hofmeyr isn't Afrikaans. Like, Steve Hofmeyr is like super Afrikaans. Like, he's not even part of us. Like a Boerewors and a Koeksister pumped and then Steve Hofmeyr was born. That's how Afrikaans Steve Hofmeyr is. He's like almost doesn't fall into... So he doesn't count. But so people assume that we're racist. And I was at the same restaurant the other day, I ordered breakfast, and the waitress goes, okay, so would you like white or brown toast? Oh, stupid question, white toast? I was like, no, that's not fair. I was like, I'm going to prove this lady wrong. I said to her, actually, I'll have brown toast, please. I'll have brown toast. My eggs, no white. I want no white on that shit, okay? Not even the plate must be white. No salt, just pepper, okay? And I also want you to throw in a hash brown and some mince, please, some nice brown mint. And it worked. She was so happy. She's like, okay, so I'll get that for you. What kind of mince would you like? I was like, slavery, please. Savory? Fuck. I'm so sorry. What did I say? I meant savory. So I can't just heard a few people going, terrible. I'm Afrikaans. I come from a very Afrikaans community, but I didn't play rugby in high school. But I sang in the choir. I was a choir jock. And it's a thing. And said the choir jock. And thinking back, when I think back, that's one of the most racist things I've ever done, actually, singing in the choir. And I'll tell you why. It's because our choir leader, Mr. van Aswegen, he always used to say, okay, guys, now what we need is diversity. Okay, that's what the judges want to see when we sing in the competitions. They want to see diversity. So we always had to do an Afrikaans song, an English song, and an African song. Okay, dude, there's nothing more messed up than a bunch of Afrikaans kids singing an African song. Okay, we were all there. Kulo iena henna mavi, kulo iena keskorokoro, hey, hey, henna mavi ripush, push, keskorokoro, hey, hey. And push, push. And that was fine because that was the slow part. The slow part we could do, the slow part was fine. Then when the fast part came, we were screwed, okay? But luckily, every Afrikaans school also has one black guy. Just one. Just one. No one knows why he's there, how he's there, how he can speak fluent Afrikaans. But we don't ask questions because we needed him in the choir. So then when the fast part came, he would jump out from behind the piano wearing nothing but a leopard skin, not his own choice. But Mr. van Aswegen said, just wear the leopard skin, it suits the song, okay? It suits the song. So then he would jump out. I also knew it because I was the understudy, okay? The guy never got sick, so I never got to do the song. And I must give credit to Mr. van Aswegen because we always won. Like every competition, the judge would get up at the end. Yes, Mr. van Aswegen, I just want to congratulate you on a very diverse choir program, especially for utilizing the talents of all the students, especially that of Mr. Your very diverse choir program, gold. And then we won until the one time we had a black adjudicator and he gets up and he goes, I want the students to explain to me what that song means. And we all had the same thing in our head at the same time. Because we realized we had no clue what the song meant. The only two words we understood was push, push. We didn't know what we were pushing, why we are pushing it. Are we pushing a donkey? Are we pushing a wheelbarrow? We are just blindly fucking pushing. And my friend Johan steps forward trying to save the day, and Johan goes, yes, thank you, Mr. Adjudicator. I would just like to hand over now to one of our senior choir members, Vusi. And Vusi's standing there going, hey, Owens, moenie vir my kyk hier. I'm adopted. Okay, I have no clue what the song means. And then Johan says forward again, yes, thank you, Vusi. Now, Mr. Adjudicator, as you can hear in the chorus of the song, there's a lot of pushing going on. We push and then we push again. It's two pushes, which occurs several times throughout the song. And he gets up and he goes, these students have no clue what they're singing about. It's racist. It's a disgrace to the culture. You're disqualified. And then I started crying because I only had one solo in the choir, which was in the last song, which we didn't get to do. So Mr. van Aswegen said, no, please, Mr. Adjudicator, don't punish the students. It's not their fault. But the last song is a song that's very close to Little Skalkie's heart. And he's been practicing very hard, and you can still disqualify us, but can we just do the last song? And he said, okay. And he's like, okay, guys, come in there. Johan, just move up there. Vusi, can you get back behind the piano? Thank you. Skalkie, just come forward. Okay. He's like, okay, Skalkie, you ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Senzenina, Senzenina. And I looked at the adjudicator, and he looked like he wanted to kill me until I got to that part, Amabulu Azizinja, which means the Boers are dogs. I swear this guy got up, gave us a standing ovation, we won the fucking competition. Because there's nothing more satisfying for a black guy than seeing an Afrikaans boy singing the Boers are dogs. It's just one of those moments, I forgive you, Baba, for everything. It's fine, I forgive you. But then the other day, I realized, Senzeni, now what have we done? I know what that means, that's fine. But push, I still don't know what it means. So I went to all my friends, and I found out it's a Sotho song. And my friend Ankisa Mamabolo, do you know, she's also from South Africa. She's Sotho, and she translated it for me, and she told me it's a song about a broken car that has no wheels. That's what it means, right? A broken car that has no wheels. So I thought to myself, okay, it's a song about a broken car that has no wheels. So then why the hell did Vusi have to wear leopard skin? Okay, that's just the most racist shit ever. But I'm going to introduce your first speaker for the evening. She's just welcome everyone. I just wrote down the description of the thing. So she's a representative of DQNA Media Group, and for those of you who don't know, they're a digital marketing company founded in 2001 as a specialist in digital advertising technologies. They are committed to providing high-quality performance marketing, technology, and data management services. This is straight from the PDF they sent me. They are... I just shortened it, so you guys should be thanking me. There's 5 pages of these. They are performance-focused experts in advertising technology and have the know-how, well done, Bia, know-how to turn data into actionable insights for publishers, advertisers, and agencies around the world. Wow. So please, welcome on the stage, Zaida Sali. Thank you. Can we have a round of applause? Thank you, Zaida.
Wow, this is a really fantastic turnout, and just thank you so much all for coming. We are so excited to launch this event tonight, and I'm really honored that I can open this event up on behalf of Online Tuesday Netherlands and of course for South Africa. I think Skalk did half of my job for me, thanks. I think some of you know who DQNA is. So I won't really explain too much more about DQNA, but maybe a little bit about why we're involved. We pretty much, as DQNA Media Group, we were the founding partner of Online Tuesday in the Netherlands. When we had some activity in the local market, I mean, I think also most of you know, some of you who don't know, is that our headquarters are in the Netherlands, and the Cape Town office is an operational office. And over the last 2 years, we had quite some commercial activity in the market. And what we've noticed is that, there were some gaps here and there. Of course, I think as an industry, we got fantastic experts around us. But we thought, there's definitely an element that, some elements that we think we can, help improve and develop the market further. So, this is why we thought, let's bring Online Tuesday to South Africa, just to help and contribute towards the industry. So what is Online Tuesday about? Like we mentioned before, I mean, it's a digital platform, not only for digital marketing, but for all things digital. Online Tuesday actually started quite some time ago in 2009 already the first event was only 25 members in 2009, and now it has 5,000 members. So it has grown quite significantly, and I think the first turnout for the South African event is phenomenal. I think this room fits 200, so again, thank you so much for your support. This is really amazing. It's not just about digital marketing. It's all things digital. You can expect on the lineup anything from e-commerce to online gambling to the future of communication. So really just whatever topics we think would be really interesting for the market, but we also want to hear about what do you want to hear at these events. We would really like everyone to get very much involved in terms of what we want to put on the platform every second month. So I just thought to quickly list what you can expect, and I've mentioned that, but it's really about the content. We really want to provide you guys with some really thought-provoking content, experts you can reach out to, and an open door association. And what we mean by that is that anyone can get involved. We are quite keen to hear from you if you want to be a keynote speaker, if you would like to help coordinate, in any way you'd like to contribute, it's an open door. So what OT expects from you, self-learn, come prepared. We will notify you of what the topics, the upcoming topics will be, but read a bit about that so that you can really participate and ask some questions and really learn something once you've left. I think for me this is also really key is to network out of your network. At least what I've noticed is that we tend to stay within our own networks, and the way you're really going to learn is to just step out of that comfort zone a little bit. And the last two I've mentioned, ask plenty of questions and really get involved. So again, thank you very much for coming to the first event, and enjoy the first session. Thanks.
Thank you. So we're going to be moving swiftly along. I'm now going to introduce the two partners, which is Initiate International and Memeburn. The first one, they sent me the description of DQ&A. Initiate, they didn't send me anything about this, but months of research, and then I wrote this myself. So first, it's a representative of Initiate International, who are a specialist recruitment agency for digital marketing, IT, finance, property, sales, mining, online gaming, contact centers, office admin, and executive jobs in SA. Months of research. They were established in 2001 with their mission being to deliver the highest standards of recruitment service through a consultative approach. Okay, and then the representative for them is Lewis Bride, who will come up in a second. I Facebook stalked her just for some info about her for you guys. So she will be representing Initiate International. Her recruitment career spans over 10 years, predominantly within the financial, real estate and construction, and more recently gaming industries. She also, this is what I saw from her Instagram, likes long walks on the beach and loves cats. So please welcome onto stage Lewis Bride. Thank you. Thank you.
The correct pronunciation is Lois, like Lois Lane. Hi, I am so pleased that there are so many of you here, because we did print this banner with you in mind. We fill empty spaces with high-flying talent, and hopefully you guys are talent. We do recruit predominantly within marketing and communications, aside from the fact that you've researched us and apparently all these keywords come up, but that's Google and SEO, I suppose. We are specialists within this field, and when Zyda approached us from DQ&A, we were jumping at the chance. We have worked in Silicon Valley, Silicon Roundabout, that's London to everyone else, and now really excited to be involved with the Silicon Cape. I think, knowledge, without having a cliche to describe us, knowledge is power. And for us as recruiters, this kind of event is really awesome to be involved with, because we're getting fantastic people from all over the globe to come and speak to you. And we can see there are a lot of keen people here, so it's really awesome to see that people are willing to go the extra mile and go outside of their comfort zone and sit here and listen to hopefully some awesome speakers on a Tuesday evening. Hopefully we're going to have some awesome speakers tonight and then going forward. So, cool. Cheers, guys.
Thank you, Lois. So the next partner is... Eh? Okay. So the next partner is Memeburn. This one was a bit harder to research. So what I actually did, I got a team of researchers together, and we together, through a lot of hard work and determination, wrote this blurb. So Memeburn is a website that focuses on everything digital in the emerging market sphere. It is particularly interested in the BRICs. It's not BRICS, I mean BRICS and okay. As well as digital innovation, viral online marketing campaigns, and general tech trends. Unfortunately, Matthew Buckland couldn't be here, who was supposed to be here from Memeburn, but replacing him, we have the more than capable Jason. It's French, so I say it in a French accent because it's just more applicable. And he's the brand manager for Memeburn, so please welcome him on stage. Thank you.
Yeah, how's it guys? Thanks very much. I just realized that I wrote my notes on a piece of paper for a digital conference. So I feel quite hipster right now, but I see Skulk's got it as well, so thank you. Solidarity, old school. We'll keep going. So yeah, guys, every evening, thanks very much for having me. My name's Jason Becheves. It's a French one, don't worry, we'll move on. And I'm the brand manager for Memeburn. We're also known as Mimi, Meme, or the occasional Me. For those of you who don't know us or don't know how to pronounce our names, we, in a digital nutshell, are a group of tech-obsessed mavericks who cover all pillars of the digital world, from online trends to digital marketing, cars that park themselves. This is a weird thing to work with, yeah. Shiny watches that do absolutely everything but tell the time, all the way to articles like 6 ways to improve your cat's social media presence. You'll never guess what number 5 is. As an independent publisher, we fully understand the need to explore new ways to advertise and engage with our audiences, ways that are informative, entertaining, but most of all relevant. And a platform like Online Tuesday is a fantastic opportunity to unearth these ideas because it brings together an eclectic mix of voices and ideas. The digital landscape, as we all know, is a very crazy and chaotic place. And with new buzzwords being thrown at us on a daily basis, it's safe spaces like this that allow us to make sense of everything, or at least try. I did a little bit of a search to find some buzzwords that are going around, and there's some weird ones. I got growth hacking, snackable content, news jacking, and deep linking. Suffice to say, my mind did start to wander. And I am thinking of a new website for Memeburn, probably something along the lines of Carpetburn, but we'll move on quickly. So yeah, I just wanted to highlight 2 reasons why we obviously wanted to be a part of this event. The first is that Online Tuesday is all about the sharing of knowledge. And we at the Meme team are all for hashtag collaboration. In fact, we never refer to our other publishers as competitors, but rather neighbors in a digital community. As cliche as that sounds, I know, but then again, I just did a hashtag sign with my hands in the air. So I've gone deep. The second reason is because much like Online Tuesday, it originated overseas. Memeburn follows international trends, news and trends, and makes sense of it, and then explains why this information is important to the South African audiences. I think when it comes to digital and tech trends, we will always be playing the catch-up game in Africa, but it's important not to have that copy-paste mindset, but to rather understand what others are doing in their spaces and then how we can kind of implement that to best suit our own audiences and our best needs. So without further ado, I'm very much looking forward to what tonight will bring. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Jason. Merci. It's French for thank you. Then we have our speaker. He came all the way from the Netherlands to join us for this event. He is the property and business development. I couldn't memorize it so quickly. He's the product and business development director and co-owner of DQNA. He also co-founded at Similis in 2008, which is a digital marketing agency focused on providing solutions in the performance marketing space. He started his digital marketing career at the age of 13, when as an affiliate he worked on a global level, recognizing and capitalizing worldwide trends in affiliate marketing. Okay, so please, welkom op de verhogen. I can't speak Dutch. Please welcome onto the stage, Michael Ossendrijver. Thank you very much.
What? Yeah, my mic. Hello, everyone. It's a lot of people. I like that. Why did you not make any jokes about me? You make jokes about everyone. Come on, man. First word of notice: we are number 7 hashtag in South Africa right now. So keep on going, guys. I'm not sure what the other 6 are, but it's pretty good. I'm Michael. Welcome, everyone. I'm one of the owners of DQ&A, and I'm thrilled and honored to have you guys here. We indeed do this little thing in Amsterdam every month. Have about 300-400 people every month, so I hope we will outgrow this room very soon, and we'll move on to bigger things. I think the community here has it in itself, so cool. I was asked to tell you guys a little bit about digital marketing, especially the future of it. That's literally a topic I can talk about for hours. I have 30 minutes, so I made a selection for you guys. That's me. Indeed, as Schalk said, I'm one of the owners of DQ&A Media Group. I'm not going to give you any bullshit about the company. What we do well is ad technology, programmatic media, RTB, affiliate, and performance. I like to think of ourselves as a media agency of the future without the fluff and fancy stories and PowerPoint presentations. I'm also active in Startup Bootcamp as a mentor and an early stage investor. Why is that cool? Because it motivates me a lot. It's one of Europe's largest incubators. We get a lot of small startups in a room. We drill them for 6 weeks, and fantastic ideas come out. It keeps me inspired, and I get to put my energy inside of them, and that's good. I like sneakers. I'm wearing my lucky red sneakers today. Let's see if they bring me luck. I like fast cars, good food, and good wine. For good food and good wine, this is the city to be in. And I really like bad jokes. So Schalk, good man, really good. Mostly I like digital marketing. So yeah, like I said, this is an extremely broad topic. I tried bringing it down to 4 topics that I would like to cover. Number 1, and that actually covers most of it, what's happening in digital, is a changing consumer. I mean, if you look at the consumer 20 years ago, they had 1 or 2 newspaper subscriptions, some TV, if they were lucky over here, and that's about it. Of course, right now, we live in a rapidly accelerating multi-screen world where not every screen does the same thing anymore. People can interact with your brand when they want, how they want, the way they want it, and what they expect from brands is to understand that they're doing that, because consumers are not in this room. Well, you're all consumers as well, but you're digitally warped, let me put it that way. Most consumers are not, and they expect brands to understand what they are doing on these different screens. Big challenge. I think I covered number 2 with that as well. It's very difficult, and it's a huge challenge to understand which screen does what. Somebody that is using Facebook in the morning on a 3G network is somebody completely different than on an iPad on a Sunday afternoon sitting on the couch watching a YouTube video. They're both mobile. Yeah, what does it say? Understanding and solving these challenges comes with a data challenge. I hate the word big data. I think big data is absolute bullshit. I believe in applicable data. That's much more relevant. It's very easy to get big data. It's what do you do with it? And that is what we as DQ&A, we call it actionable insights. It basically means understand how you can distill data to a point where it becomes relevant and where people understand it. I mean, a huge part of this industry sits in buzzwords, which I hate. I think load shedding also is a really nice buzzword. That's a dirty word, load shedding. Load shedding is a dirty word. It's disgusting. I need to shed a load right now. Okay, I'm done. It's disgusting. That was funny. I'm trying. I have a big shoes to fill. No, but I mean, there's a huge increase of marketing data, and we have technology that can help us with it. Actually, the technology goes much faster than the market goes. So what does it mean? We need the knowledge to enable those technology platforms to do the right thing. Huge challenge, because who do you need to manage the technology? People with knowledge. Brings me to the last part, roles. What do we expect people in this industry to be doing? What does an agency do? What does an advertiser do? What does a publisher do? Right now we have a concept of that, and we have quite an okay division of roles. But I can tell you in the next 3-4 years, that is going to change completely. You guys really need to get much more in touch with each other. Agencies, be worried. Advertisers are going to get smarter. Your margins are going to go to shit, and you actually have to step up your game. The margins are mature. I'm just trying to provoke a little bit. We'll see. Depends on how good of a job you do. So this is kind of the Marty McFly Back to the Future moment. I was really excited last week when I was preparing my my presentation that the IAB and PwC released their first ever internet spend study in South Africa. I was like, fuck yeah, that's what I need. It was released April 2015 for 2013. Yeah, I mean, they must have taken a really long time on those graphs. They look good, but I don't know. But still, this is all I have to work with, guys, so please bear with me. I try doing the most I can. So in 2013, the key trend was that 28% of, this is actually an interesting part, so 28% of the digital spend in South Africa in 2013, I would assume it was around the same in 2014, maybe a little bit more, a little bit less, I don't know, was mobile, and 72% was desktop. We'll get to that later why that is very relevant, because it's completely warped with reality. And what's probably more interesting for me is that 52% said in search. And this is actually a trend, and you can see that on this slide, that has happened in every market. You will see this further on in my presentation as well. I found two benchmark markets, the US, because we think they're ahead, but they're actually not, and the Netherlands, because that's where I'm from, so that's easy. And basically what you see is that the percentage in digital spend that sits in search, that actually you as a whole digital community are carrying outside of South Africa, parking with an American company, that does nothing for your country or digital community, but that's another topic. It's peaking. It's peaking. So in the US and in the Netherlands, you see these numbers decreasing by the quarter, and they don't decrease with like 0.2%. They're decreasing with big fat percentages. Don't forget 4% of search. That's almost $1 billion in the US. It's serious money that's shifting per quarter. So to illustrate it a little bit, look at this is global. This is from Google's own figures, and I call this peak search. It basically means that the CPC prices, so the pricing level of CPCs, has peaked globally already in 2011. What does that mean? There only is so much relevant traffic you can buy for a certain click price in order to make it work for an advertiser. At a certain point, you just start a bidding war, and you might kill one or two competitors along the way. But in the end, you're overspending. Many markets that are more mature have actually realized that, and yeah, I'm willing to bet all my clicks that this will happen in South Africa as well. It's a normal market trend. It's going to happen. But why is this important? Because this is the future. This 52% is going to shift. Challenge for the search agencies, but for all the other players out there, a lot of money is going to free up. What are you going to do with it? To illustrate that further, and this already underpins what I want to talk about, you see search has peaked. These are US figures. They actually are quick with releasing this stuff. So this is 2014 data that was out in February. So well done to the US. South Africa, wake up. So you actually search dropping almost 10% since it's peaked in 11, 12. The rest is quite stable, but there's the elephant in the room, of course, and that's mobile. I mean, mobile is disrupting this whole industry. And you guys know that because you're from a very interesting country in mobile perspective. But it's happening everywhere. What I think is funny about this, and that actually underlines how much evolution we still have to do together, is that mobile is separate. Because mobile isn't separate. How can you say there's classifieds, and how can you separate mobile from that? So I think give it 2 years, 2.5 years, this will all be integrated, and we'll be looking at it differently. But what I want to say with this is where the growth is. And you see it in 5 years going from nothing to almost 25% of digital spend. It's cool stuff, guys. It's really challenging. So I always call this the BRICS as well. Is it not BRICS? Should I call it BIRCs? I don't know. Anyway, the BIRCs countries have one thing in common. We used to have an office in Sao Paulo for a very long time, so I see exactly the same thing happening there. What these countries did is they basically leapfrogged the wealthy, lazy first world countries in terms of mobile. Why? Because of necessity. There's a very large percentage of the population that doesn't have the money to buy a desktop or a laptop. These people still want to be digital. They still want to interact with Kim Kardashian on Facebook, whatever the fuck they want to do, I don't know. Anyway, they need a device to do it with. So they buy a cheap Android smartphone, if they're lucky. I mean, you have the whole feature phone challenger still, but let's forget about the feature phones right now. It's a whole different discussion. The interesting part is this actually underpins, and I guess you will know this, something else. This very stern-looking Italian gentleman, this is the best picture I could find of him, is called Corrado Gini. And this man developed what's called the Gini coefficient. And what it actually does is it maps out income inequality. And actually, income, of course, is money. You actually have a different inequality, and it's illustrated in the device ownership in this country. So looking at these figures, you see that in South Africa, 61% of the total page views you guys do is mobile. Globally, that's 31%. So essentially, your mobile challenge here as a country is twice as big as it is globally. It's crazy. Also, and it, I think also illustrates the relatively small wealthy income class here. 32% of page use is desktop. Globally, that's 62. Huge differences. Essentially, you were the whole industry upside down. Tablet traffic is right the same percentage, so that's good. What's interesting about this is and that brings me back to the first part, you have almost 70% of your spend sitting on 32% of your page views. So what's happening with the rest? I mean, I believe this country has a very rapidly growing middle class that's mobile first. I think many people don't really care about a desktop or a laptop anymore at home. They maybe buy a tablet if they're lucky, but why buy a tablet if you have a nice Galaxy S Tab you can afford, you know? So the challenge really is how do you monetize this 61%? If I was not caught up in this whole adventure called DQ&A, what I would do, I would start a mobile consultancy company here immediately and start talking to companies on how to make this happen. I believe you have the whole ecosystem to have it ready. The challenge is huge, but you need knowledge to get it done. So why is it so interesting? Because this is a UK statistic. So this maps out the most important device for internet access by device ownership. So why is this interesting? Because many people will assume if you have a laptop, that's your device of choice to get online with. Not true anymore. Preferred device is tablet. Then we get desktop, laptop. Then we get smartphone. If you combine tablet, smartphone, it's over 50%. So it's really a paradigm shift in how we approach digital marketing and in how we think, well, you know, we'll build it for desktop. People will do something on mobile, and hopefully they'll find a bridge somewhere. Let's hope for it. Let's invest lots of money, and let's see if they find it. We, as an industry here, I think, really need to adopt a mobile-first thinking pattern and really flip things upside down. And I think you will have a big role to play in there. I honestly wonder as well what the hell the mobile providers are doing, to be honest, because they have a huge role as well. If I look in Turkey, for instance, the Vodacoms in Turkey play a huge role in developing the mobile ecosystem. They create mobile payment solutions that people can work with. They get free data out for e-commerce stuff. I'm not sure if any mobile providers are in the room, but I would love to talk to you guys. There's a lot of stuff you can do. There's also a big challenge. I'm sorry because the image is a bit small. I couldn't find it in higher resolution. What it basically maps out is the add-to-cart ratio and the actual conversion ratio of desktop mapped out to mobile. Differences are huge. We just had a discussion with the panel as well. It's enormous. So on desktop, you will have around an 8% add-to-cart and maybe a 2.7% checkout. On an Android phone, that's a quarter. So the traffic sits there, and it performs 25% of what it does when you compare it to desktop. Huge challenge, of course, because all the traffic is out there, and essentially what this shows is nobody has a clue how to monetize it. Big challenge, I think, but not a bridge you can't cross. You just need to be creative with it. We had a discussion, what can you do in terms of understanding different traffic silos? Somebody that is on Facebook is somebody that's completely different that's reading a financial news article. Sure, they're both mobile, and you can sell it to your client as both mobile, and you can run the same kind of campaign on there, but the mindset of the consumer on that particular moment is completely different. And I think this is really a bridge the industry still needs to cross here, or is hopefully approaching. Also really small, I'm sorry guys, I thought I would have much bigger screens. Anyway, what this shows is around a quarter of people in South Africa bought something via desktop online in the last quarter, I think this is. That's only 11% on mobile, which is quite interesting because what especially is interesting, you have the UK sitting there with 69% on desktop, and on mobile they're only 18. So the difference between desktop conversions between the UK leading market and between you guys is a third. But actually, statistically speaking, you guys convert better on mobile already. That of course makes sense because many people don't have a desktop, so they have to do it. But still, it shows that there's willingness to do m-commerce. And I think the challenge this whole industry has is how can we actually get that flywheel going? You know, what can we do in order to make this thing happen? You sit in a gold mine, in all honesty, I think. Speaking of media money, I think this is an interesting bridge to cross. If you look at global daily screen minutes, most of them are on the phone these days. Tablet 12%, computer 26%, TV 27%. That's only going to shift more towards the orange and the green elements, I think. If you look at global media spend, it's still a very TV-dominated world we live in. I mean, right now, at least in 2013, 2/3 of the money went into TV. That's great for the top 5 agencies because it's easy money for them. Advertisers know how it works. But it's going to shrink. And don't forget that 6% of global media spend is probably the whole, well, maybe 10 times the whole entire online South African industry together. So the change is huge. But the growth does not sit in desktop advertising. It sits in mobile. It's going to leapfrog and grow with 300% over the next 3 years. This is really where it's happening. It's happening globally. And the challenge I think you as a country have is how can you make it happen here? And I think you're forced to make it happen, to be honest. And this is also an interesting thing. I didn't have this in my presentation originally, but I came across this yesterday, and I thought it was too interesting not to share. Because TV is also completely changing. If you look at, there's 2 terms there. Legacy TV means old school TV programming. You connect with cable, you watch, you flip. OTT means over-the-top TV, and that means via an Apple TV, via Chromecast, but also, for instance, via a DSTV decoder. So you see the huge thing that's happening here. The normal TV revenue is shrinking in 3 years from 60 billion to 47. Huge, almost 20% decrease. And if you look what happens with the over-the-top TV revenue, it goes from 8.4 billion to over 31. This is the reason why Google is selling Chromecasts. This is the reason why Apple is selling Apple TVs. They're not selling that because they want to provide you with a nice device. Their goal is to make sure that they own the TV experience in the future. It's a matter of time until YouTube starts licensing the Olympics or the Champions League. Then what happens? You watch it via YouTube. Google can map it out to an IP because you can only watch it with the Chromecast from Google, of course. And then what happens? They can advertise on an IP, and they know that I watch all the Ajax games because I'm an Ajax fan. The Ajax main sponsor will pay gold money for me. So it's important to understand that this shift ties in with everything that we're doing here. I mean, TV will be digital, and digital will be TV. In a matter of years, it will be just another screen that we transact on, just like outdoor will be, just like digital outdoor will be at least, just like radio will be. I mean, anything you can transact will be transactable, and it will go through an interface. And the whole, I'll send you a fax, I'll take you to a nice business lunch, what the discount you can give me, let's negotiate a rebate, blah, blah, blah. It's going to change. That's good. I talked about different devices doing different things before, and this is also an interesting thing to illustrate. It's American data. So what you can see is that TV is still the best or the most popular way for longer live broadcasts. That's going to change. And actually, the interesting part for me here was the iPad. So people, and it's typical because I don't regard my iPad that way. But people tend to like to watch longer quality broadcasting on their iPad compared to shorter quality broadcasting. Why is that interesting? Because it means that all these iPads that everyone in the room I'm sure has are TVs. And if we start treating them that way, and if we start understanding that's what it is, it opens up a huge amount of possibility in terms of targeting and stuff we can do as a digital community. Smartphones, I think everybody just watches videos of cats. I don't know, that's what I do when I'm bored at least. When I'm shedding loads, or there's a lot of people that do that on desktop, laptop as well. I don't know. It's an interesting part to observe at least. So, key takeaways from this, because I realize it's a lot of information, there's a lot of graphs. Important for you guys to understand is the saturation of search is coming. Peak search is approaching. And I'm kind of a philosophical guy, I like to talk of big ideas. Do you want to, as an industry, give away 50% of your digital spend to the US? If you add Facebook to that, it's maybe 70%. That's not going to be successful if you want to build something here, you know? And I understand the advertiser are asking for it, but maybe you should also ask them this question. Maybe you should see what you can do as an industry, and of course I have the answer to this question later, so I'm kind of like creating the whole scene. What can you do to make it work here, instead of saying, here Google, here's our money, have fun with it, maybe you'll pay us a visit. It's fascinating. Understand how dominant mobile is, and understand also as agencies and advertisers how big a challenge for publishers is. Because they have billions of page views they can do anything with. They're willing to give them to you pretty much for free, I guess, if you make a good deal. Be smart about it. I mean, that's what I would do. Find the next big thing. The challenge in e-commerce is enormous. I do think you have a fantastic country for e-commerce, so it should go in a certain way. We'll touch more about this in this on the panel. And then, yeah, kind of the elephant in the room, at least for us as DQ&A, because it's stuff we love to talk about because we're really good at it, is, oh no, I first have this one. This is actually a nice one. What we all need to do, as at least if you want to run up front in this industry, I see a lot of zebras in this country. I've never been on a safari, but what I mean with zebras is animals of the same height all eating grass. The digital industry now is at a stage where giraffes are evolving. So that means that actually agencies are starting to specialize. Advertisers are starting to specialize. Search agencies are starting to evolve. And what did they evolve? Specific tools, tricks, traits, necks, if you want in this case, to be smarter. So think about how your company or how you yourself can become the giraffe. Think about what's next in this industry. Think about where these fresh leaves are. Think about those billions of unsold mobile impressions. How can you become a giraffe and get those leaves while those minion zebras are eating that non-tasty grass? You want those leaves. Get there. Have that ambition as well. And that's also what we want to do with Online Tuesday. You know, gather that knowledge as an industry. Be hungry for it. What's the future? Like I said, we as DQ&A, we do a lot of programmatic stuff. We're good at it. We've done it for a very long time. And this, again, by lack of South African data, is a Dutch survey where agencies and advertisers were asked, where do you think the industry is going? One person said search. But most of them actually are embracing display formats. Of course, display is an extremely broad term. Internationally, the video thing is huge. I understand that it's absolutely not applicable here because you guys have to fix your broadband issues first. I mean, video will be huge in this country at a certain time, but not until video actually can be streamed in a normal way. Other formats like mobile, like rich media, like normal display are really going to grow. And as you can see, everybody's putting their bets on this whole thing we call programmatic. Now I hate buzzwords, so let's first break this thing here and turn it into terms that people understand. Schalk, what is programmatic advertising?
I'm going to let you explain that one.
No, I want you to ask people.
What is programmatic advertising?
No DQ&A people. DQ&A people are not allowed. Who can answer the question in a nice way? What's programmatic advertising, guys?
Can I give the mic to someone?
This is your time to shine. You can be the absolute expert now when you get the answer right. There's a hand.
Eh?
No, John, you don't count.
You don't count. Okay.
Come on.
Who wants to try? Okay, this lady over here wants to try. What is programmatic advertising? That's the question.
It's an intelligent way of targeting, just targeting your audience. Yeah, like you don't need people anymore to look for this, the placement, the audience. Your impression is going to be showing specifically to your audience. Woman between 35, 65, that's the core magazine, and who lives in Cape Town, Gauteng, and it's like a very intelligent way of.
Don't look at me when you say it. It's not. Okay.
Is that correct?
I don't know. I know what WTF means, but
that's good.
I'm not sure.
That's something. I don't know what that means though. All right. So let's get the terms straight. You were right, by the way. So you win something. My applause. Great. The important thing is, and that is all that programmatic basically means. It means that you use automated systems to transact certain things. So instead of a human, you use a computer. That's all. It's not rocket science. It's very, very easy. Programmatic advertising also isn't new. Think about search. Search has been programmatic from day one. Not rocket science, guys. It just means you have a computer talking to a computer. One computer says, I want to pay this. The other computer says, I want to earn this. And then they talk together. Something happens. That's it. That's programmatic. Next one. What's RTB? What's RTB?
To the
Somebody?
floor. What is RTB?
Somebody? Come
Okay.
on. This one might be easier.
RTB?
That stands for real-time bidding. So that's basically what you've just described. Having two different costs comparing, and the guy with the best cost wins.
So what's the difference between programmatic and RTB?
The programmatic is RTB,
But is all programmatic RTB?
not necessarily.
Exactly. Good.
Exactly. We're going to move. Thank you, Michael.
Good. Yes. I like this. This is good, guys. No, but I mean, it seems like a silly exercise, but these terms get convoluted so many times, and indeed, for a large part, they are convoluting because what we talk about when we talk about programmatic is 80% of the times RTB, but the two are not the same thing. RTB indeed means that you use an auction mechanism between these two computers to determine who wins. That is what it is. So with programmatic, you might say computer A can buy for one and I will always sell for one. That's also programmatic. But what RTB does is it has all these different computers on the advertiser side bidding against basically the computer that sits with the publisher, and the computer that gives the highest bid, just like in an auction house, wins. It's not more than that. I had to put this in from the people here in the Cape Town office because they said you need to explain this, and I think it's important that we do. So this is essentially the flow of the whole programmatic ecosystem. If you start at the top with the advertiser, advertisers generally have an agency, and agencies generally have specific units in their company called agency trading desks that generally do this whole programmatic thing. What is the reason for that? Is it a margin reason? Perhaps. Is it a specialty reason? Perhaps. Is it a knowledge reason? I don't really know. We see, at least in our developing markets, a huge shift. We see many agency trading desks becoming normal agencies, and we see many agencies saying, we don't really want to do this whole programmatic stuff, we'll specialize in what we do best. It's quite interesting to see. So, and this is where it gets interesting, this agency connects to a DSP, a demand-side platform. And a demand-side platform basically is the buying computer. So this is the computer that you use to buy with. That has certain algorithms in place or programming in place to make sure that every impression that you buy as a buyer, you buy for at least money as possible and at best converting as possible. Examples of DSPs, DoubleClick, Bid Manager, and AppNexus, and of course your DSP will often be connected to an ad server or to external tools that do like audience verification or all of this other nice stuff that people make money with, whatever. There's a lot of periphery that I had to cut out of this. There's a lot of clutter. The interesting part of what's happening is these DSPs 4 or 5 years ago, you were really like the big guy on the block. We have an own DSP license. We're like, wow, cool. That's not the case anymore. I mean, the ease of use of these DSPs and also the ease to get access to one has become extremely easy. What does that mean? That advertisers are starting to question their agency. They're like, why are we doing this through you again? Where you can mark up the media in a certain way, you can make money, we don't really know what's happening. We're going to do this ourselves. And this is a trend we see, for instance, in the Dutch market, in the American market, where advertisers are doing it themselves. Anyway, that's stuff for the future for you guys, but that's going to come. So with RTB, so with this auctioning ecosystem, the DSPs connect to ad exchanges. And ad exchanges are nothing more than huge, I always call them oceans of impressions. Video impressions, mobile impressions, banner impressions, whatever. As long as you can transact it, it's in an exchange. And basically, the exchange is the auction house. So the exchange says, here is it. Then the DSP says, this is what we want. The auction mechanism happens. And what gets out? The winning impression for the winning DSP, so the winning advertiser or agency. another buzzword is an SSP. An SSP is nothing more, and these are also convoluted completely, than an algorithm on the publisher side that optimizes this whole process. So basically, it enables publishers to implement some business rules. John can buy from me for 10, but I like Melissa better, so she can buy from me for 5. That is what you would define in an SSP, and then that exchange would optimize that automatically. AppNexus also is an SSP and an ad exchange and a DSP. They do everything. Rubicon Project, for instance, is an SSP, and if you look at ad exchanges, the DoubleClick ad exchange is by far the largest. If I look at the impressions you guys have in South Africa, I think over 80 to 85% all is via DoubleClick ad exchange. So no matter how, in all honesty, guys, Google will take your money. It's life. They're smart like that, you know, whatever. Bottom side sits a publisher. They generally need an ad server to connect to this whole programmatic ecosystem. Makes sense. But what's interesting, and this is what we see, for instance, happening in the Netherlands. Right now, RTB is about banners. But what we're doing in the Netherlands, we buy a lot of radio advertising, for instance. We're starting to experiment with actually buying out-of-home advertising. Screens in parking garages, stuff like that. Super useful. So basically what I say, I mean, it's nice that we're talking about banners here, but banners are kind of, I don't know, I don't really like banners, to be honest. We do display, but I don't really like banners. There's much more engaging formats, like video, like native advertising as well. We do lots of native advertising via programmatic. So basically, this is the whole paradigm shift that the whole media industry will go through over the next 10 years. Everything will be programmatic. If I am standing here 10 years from now, people are like, yeah, of course we're targeting TV people by how they, what programs they watch, what age they have, and what we know about what they bought yesterday at a store. Of course, normal. Privacy has to come in play somewhere, but if you anonymize it in a nice way, that's the future. Why is this relevant? Just look at the growth figures. I mean, the whole programmatic ad spend grows with 5 billion euros a year. It's serious money, guys. And like I said, this is almost like when cars were introduced, people were saying that horses were better. I don't see any horses on the road right now. You cannot stop technology. This is something that's going to happen. So understand that. This is interesting because I think in order to have this work, you need an ecosystem. You need people to work together, play together, and understand what's going on. There are a few core fundamentals that have to change, actually two. Every publisher believes that everything that's on their website is fantastic, has a huge value, and should be represented that way. Sure, you can get a rate card discount of 80%, but that's nonsense. Still, it has a certain perceived value. Publishers have to understand that the perceived value has to be dropped to a certain extent. Let the market determine the value of your actual inventory. Advertisers and agencies need to understand that it's not only about cheap, it's about good. We buy impressions for ridiculous CPMs. Why? Because I know that these users are worth that to me for my advertiser, because I know that those users actually are not clicking kitten pictures on Facebook, but they're actually on a financial website and are in market to buy a luxury vehicle in the next 3 months. So this is important. Consumers will hate ads. That's not going to change. This is an important thing to understand. We can just make it a bit more relevant for them. So let's at least try that. So indeed, the thing that every publisher tells me, it's trash in, trash out, bullshit, not true. If you look at, these are Dutch figures again, if you look at the 2012-2014 figures, an increase of plus 40% in volume, and also an increase of plus 30% in CPM growth. So what does this actually demonstrate? If you do it the right way, you can easily scale up RTB volume or programmatic volume, and you can also make more money. But you need an ecosystem to get this going. You need each other. Sound like a hippie now, but you get what I mean. So I do this in many countries. I tell the story in many countries, and they all go through the same phases. And I hear from every country, no, we're special. And I say, every country tells me you're special. And they're like, no, we're really special. I'm sure. And I also know that South Africa is really special. So you guys are really special. But I also know that this is going to happen, because in every country I've told this story for the last 6 years, this has been the cycle. So I call this one, and it's not a very catchy title, the Fear, Yes, Love RTB phases. I'm very open for suggestions on a better name for that, but I couldn't really come up with it. So basically, the first phase of that, the fear model, I use a little emoticon to illustrate it. Basically, the publisher is under the impression, we have nothing to lose, we have so much inventory, let's give it a go. Agencies mostly are like, well, nice, it's cheap inventory. We can mark it up to an advertiser. It's a better way to access cheap inventory. Let's make some money. It's very arbitrage driven. Second phase is actually realization that it works. Many publishers get to a stage where they see, well, all this trash inventory that we couldn't sell before, at least somebody's buying it, at least it's making us money. We still don't really like it because their sales guys get no understanding of it. They cannot really sell it, but whatever, let's scale it up. And actually, with advertisers and agencies, the belief grows that if we use data the right way, we can actually make more money with this for our clients and also for ourselves. But that's a different discussion. This is the yes phase. This is where the fun starts. So, and I'll map the South African landscape out for you guys later, where you are right now. The yes phase is where publishers actually see that it works. So they see that their CPMs are increasing. They see the proof of the fact that a programmatic selling strategy works. That means that publishers start to develop content for programmatic. They start developing video content. They start making mobile ad formats that they can transact via programmatic channels. They believe in private deals. What's a private deal in 20 seconds? A private deal is when I tell to John, I'll give you one. I'll tell to Melissa, I'll give you two. And I sell you green and I sell you blue. So basically you separate it out in a certain way as a seller where you can make packages, and those packages you can make available at a certain price. Basically it's guaranteed inventory in a new programmatic flavor. What you see with agencies at this stage is actually that RTB is not a cool thing anymore. It's not something you will put in the plan sometimes. It's an undercurrent of every media plan. There is an RTB or programmatic component to everything that you do. Then you get to the love phase, programmatic first. This is what I like. Where actually, and honestly, this is, again, the way it's going to go if you like it or not. In the end, for salespeople, it shouldn't matter anymore if they get a signature on an IO or if they get somebody to buy with a computer. Right now, with many publishers, that's still the case. It doesn't really make sense, That's not what it's about. It's about that revenue flows. And what we see, for instance, in the Dutch market, in the American market, we are at this stage. Programmatic first for advertisers agencies, for a large part, means that advertisers understand what's happening with their money. Why is that relevant? If advertisers understand what's happening with their money, you get true evolution and knowledge transfer, because then agencies wake up. Then the agencies are like, oh shit, we really have to work for our money, guys. Something really has to be done now. Mapping out the US and the Netherlands, I think we're somewhere around phase 4. I put this behind it because we're also looking ahead to see what's happening. And I think there's a bit of a disparity with South Africa. I think your publishers are, well, if you're lucky, around stage 2. I think there's still a lot of fear. I think there's a lot of lack of transparency, and I think there's actually there's a huge lack of knowledge. I think many publishers want to do it, they have no idea how to do it in a safe way. And it's almost like a Pandora's box situation. These guys are like, if we open it up, is there a way back? What's going to happen? What will happen to our targets? Will our sales guys quit? It's very difficult. And I think, at least that's my view, that the demand side is a bit further. Makes sense because also the demand side technology is advanced better. And I see many advertisers and agencies here getting to a stage where they say we want to do RTB and we can do it in a basic way. But can we really be smart with it? No, not really. And that's the whole knowledge challenge I think the South African market has. I think your new immigration laws make it extremely difficult to actually get smart people in to help solve this issue for you. So you'll have to do it yourself. You have to do it yourself. I mean it in a good way, by the way, but it's something we come across. So getting to the point of roles, who needs to do what? And these are really important things. Publishers have to understand that the world will not be the same in 3-4 years. It is going to change. You need to embrace a change. You need to understand that this is going to happen. It's not going to stop. Starts with education and knowledge. Understand what RTB can offer. Understand what it can do for you. Understand that it's not a threat, but it's a huge opportunity to monetize your inventory in a better way. And know your buyer. What you see in many markets where this is accelerating is publishers talk to each other and agencies talk to each other, but they don't talk together and find a way how to make it happen. It's like some sort of like fear. I don't know. It's like who ducks first. It makes no sense. I think agencies have the challenge that they need to increase their knowledge. They need to embrace data. We'll get to that later. My last slide. And this is kind of a mantra I live by as well. Less talk, more action. It's nice that we have 90 million meetings and seminars and talks like this over what programmatic can do. Just get it going, guys. Come on, dedicate some budget, give it a good try, invest in it. It's the only way you can get it done. But it all starts, in all honesty, with advertisers. Only when advertisers start demanding more transparency, more efficiency, and actually start understanding that something has to happen with how their media budgets are managed, you will see actual change. Because the only way agencies and publishers will evolve is based on how the money flows. So, yeah, advertisers in the room, let your money speak. Educate yourself first, but let your money speak. Last thing I want to touch is the golden triangle. In roles, this is very important. I actually see this happening within the Q&A. So, you used to have in traditional agencies or traditional advertisers, there was a media department, a technology department, and creative department. Sometimes the media guys and the creative guys spoke to each other. Sometimes the technology guys never. They were just down in the basement doing something, I don't know. Doing something. Basically, with this whole entry of technology into this whole ecosystem, you are forced to find, I almost call it a pseudo-religion called data, which you need to embrace. That means that, and that is what we see in our company, the nerds sit very close to the media planners. And the creatives have discussions with programmers on whether or not an ad is right. These are very fascinating things, and that also means that you have to change your way of thinking as a company. These are not silos anymore. We all want to find people that can do all three. I'm not really sure if they exist. It's like a unicorn thing. But in the end, and this is always what I push for, you need to make sure that these departments start talking to each other. Make sure that your ad tech guys and your optimizers, like the guys that crunch these Excels and run these pivot reports every day, if they never talk to the creative guys, there's a huge knowledge gap, and you will never be efficient. If the creative guys have no idea what their messages and these fancy ads they're creating are producing in terms of data, they can never adjust their way of thinking. So, and that's not the role of the account manager or the consultant or the creative director. This needs to happen on a day-to-day basis. And this is a huge challenge, but this is, this is something we, as the Q&A, really see happening every day, I would say. But it's nice to see. I think that's actually all I wanted to tell you. I'm 40 minutes in, so I timed it really well again. That's good. Become giraffes, guys. That's your challenge. Become giraffes. Are there any questions at this stage? We have a panel later, so it might make sense to save them for then. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I think let's save them for the panel.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you. Can you have a round of applause for Michael, everyone?
Thank you.
So why don't you take a seat now? And
Yeah,
then we'll,
let me grab my water.
Okay, cool. Fun fact about Michael is we
here we
share
go.
the same wig maker.
But I got the large, and you get the small.
Yeah, I got the extra small. Well, the rest of mine is in there somewhere. So we're gonna have a panel now. I'm gonna introduce the other two panel members. So firstly, I'm gonna read the description. First, she's currently the head of digital marketing at Creative Spark. Her previous roles there include social media manager as well as accounts manager. Her previous roles at other companies include SEO project management, link building, online sales, and content management. So please welcome onto the stage Melissa Chetty. Melissa, thank you. We'll also be giving away free money at the end, so everyone leaving, you will be missing out on that. Next person is the managing director at MEC Notabene. Cool. Mick Notabene. Cape Town, and a proud graduate of the University of Stellenbosch. As a University of Cape Town student, that doesn't mean much to me. But luckily, post that, he was at Red and Yellow School of Advertising in 2007. Please welcome on stage John Beale. Thank you. So I think how we will do this is we will be taking questions from the audience. I'll be running around with a mic, so your questions can be heard. We will also be taking questions from Twitter.
What rank do we have? Are we still number 7, Taz? Are we higher? Oh, come on, guys. Tweet some more with that hashtag. We need to be number 1.
I will ask the first question. What is your favorite emoticon? Mine is the little poo with a face.
I wanted to say that.
Okay, any questions? Any questions for anyone? Let's start the questions. Anyone? Giraffe over there. Well, no, the mic.
Mike, this one's for you. I am at stage 4 of programmatic, so I love it, and it makes total sense to me in terms of prospecting. But what I want to know from you is what's the efficiency of it in terms of retention?
User retention.
Retargeting, retention of that customer that you've already got.
Well, the interesting part with retention is retention starts in a different data silo. Retention starts in a CRM. And so what we do for many clients in Europe is actually connect CRM data to the programmatic ecosystem. What's very interesting is mobile phone providers. Mobile phone providers run huge advertising campaigns, but actually have a very small audience size that they're actually trying to reach, because the only really interesting people to reach are people whose contract is up in the next few months. So what we actually do for these clients is make sure that we connect CRM data in such a way that we can actually activate people whose contract is going to be up the next 3-4 months. And to them, we run very targeted advertising. To them, we make the very large investments in media to get that done. But you need to connect your data silos. You cannot do retention in programmatic if you don't connect your other company data. It's completely useless.
I'm with you, I see that.
And it sounds like almost like a disease if you say I'm stage 4 programmatic.
We also have the same joke writer. That's another interesting fact. Any more questions? Yes.
Yeah, we also have a lot of statements. Let's do one more question and let's go to the statements. Let's do one more question.
Okay, cool. One more question.
Yeah, sorry, you guys may have answered this. I had to go for a bathroom break. My question goes sort of like, I'm very new to this sort of advertising thing. I'm more like a computer programmer. So my big question is, how did like there's sort of a local market for this sort of thing, and then there's kind of a global market. And how does the sort of global market affect the emerging local markets in terms of things like, as advertisers like Google? And like, for instance, you talked a lot about like finding local solutions, but a lot of the local people, they go to the global solutions and go like, okay, well, that works sort of, so let's just stick with that. And sort of they don't try to develop a local solution to it.
I think, John Melissa, that's a question you can even better answer because you're in the market.
Yeah, I think what's happening with most of our clients is that they come from big global accounts, and we get the South African or the regional account. And a lot of the measurement is based on global benchmarking at the moment. Like Michael showed you, the research we're getting is from 2003. So the latest information, the latest benchmark that we get is usually from global standards. So that is where we want to be. The local information, the local data we're getting is usually outdated. So it's kind of, it's a chicken before the egg scenario. Do you develop something for the local market? Do you develop your own market, your own property, or do you play with where all your users are, which is usually the Facebook and the Google of the world? So we need clients that are brave enough to go on a journey with us. Usually, give us the budget, give us the trust, and we'll build something. I think usually for us the main struggle is getting a budget and getting a client that is brave enough to go on a journey with you and invest in a long-term platform to build. We usually find local startups that they come up and they fizzle out, but it's usually the Facebooks, the Googles, where all our money is going to, because our users are there.
Yeah, I think
Just a quick follow-up thing. As a local developer, like if I'm going to spend something building on my own free time, like that will make it easier for a local market to sort of emerge in this sort of context, what sort of thing would I be building?
I'm not going to tell
you. I'm not going to answer that question. I'm going to keep it for myself.
No, I'm just sort of, it's an ignorant question now, but like if I'm going to be hacking at home, like building something, like what's the sort of product that you would like to see in terms of an online solution that would help?
I'd really like to see a really cool mobile commerce solution coming around. I think for myself, I think South Africans might actually skip the whole desktop online buying and go straight to mobile, but we've had this discussion before. But getting your mobile networks in the same game as you, the Vodacoms, the MTNs, opening up the payment portals. There's so many logistical blockers actually for us. So if you want to actually build a mobile commerce platform or take the Takealots and the Kalaharis of the world and build an online payment platform, people in feature phones, people playing in smartphones, there's a lot of risk. There's a lot of blockers in terms of mobile networks, not opening up online payment portals. We're also, Creative Spark is a development house as well, and we're constantly having the same struggles with allowing people to purchase on any platform they're on, but the payment gateways are also problematic. So unless you get everyone playing with you in the same field, it's going to be quite difficult. So if you want to innovate, I think try and work on the fundamentals, try and work on the actual infrastructure, and get that right, and then we can actually innovate.
Thank you. Before we move to the statements, I forgot to say earlier from Twitter, we got a picture from the Netherlands of a whole room full of people waving like this. The Online Tuesday people in the Netherlands, they're all watching, and it's really great. It's cool how we... Online, eh? It's amazing. Any Twitter questions? Okay. Statements.
Statement one. Mobile is a big black spot on the radar of digital marketers in South Africa. I mean, I spoke a lot. What do you guys think? Is it true? Or are you recognizing it, but don't you know what to do with it?
Yeah, I think, look, from our side, it was very worrying firstly to see 2013 data from PwC, but mostly to see the majority of only 13% of that budget going, again, to mobile. What of that is mobile, we don't know, but I think if you look at the effort and the time still spent in both workable and non-workable media or budget on a digital perspective into online or desktop, we're far too skewed as marketers, and I think we need to wake up that those of us sitting in the room are the 1% that are still using PCs, and the personal computer is not personal anymore. The personal computer is the handheld device. That's what's personal now. So yeah, I think it is definitely, ironically, I don't think we've come to grips with how to properly, there's pockets, I think, of it being done properly, but not, overall.
What do you think, Melissa?
I agree. I think when it comes from an agency point of view, when it comes to even budget allocation, we're still limited. We're still trying to educate people in the second screen. That's how far behind we are, I think, when it comes to the digital black spot. So, yeah, I agree with the statement.
Okay. Any other people that want to add something to this? Do we all agree? Silent majority?
Gentleman over here.
Thanks. Yeah, I just wanted to ask a question related to this black spot and the whole push for mobile. I think one of the fundamental problems that we have in South Africa is a lack of good inventory, which you may or may not agree with. And, I think the reason why it may be a black spot is maybe mobile is particularly bad with serving up good inventory, right? So I think the majority of mobile viewers are, looking at sports scores, or reading one particular news platform, which is very dominant in South Africa, News 24. And I think, maybe I'm not an advertiser, I come from a publisher background, but from an advertiser perspective, I can see how they would be wary of repetitive advertising on a handful of platforms. And the same goes, for desktop. You're looking at News 24, Gumtree, and a couple of other news platforms that are serving up 95% of the inventory in the country. And I think it makes it very difficult for everyone. And maybe you can give some comments on that about, obviously coming from a publishing and media buying, on behalf of clients background, but and an agency background. Maybe you can shed some light on how you solve this issue, how you create maybe ads on these poor inventory platforms and make it work for advertisers and smaller publishers.
I'll jump in on that. So I think part of that is the move to programmatic. So the wider the networks grow for that supply side, is these smaller, the Mobi sites actually allowing the sale of that inventory. The problem is that we're such an infantile internet audience that what we're selling is crap, right? Because it's text links and shitty little tiny banners. And no creative agency that I've seen has yet to properly crack mobile creative in South Africa because we just don't know what to do with it. So we've got a problem on both the creative side and on the supply side. I think as we progress and smartphone growth starts to penetrate more, we have a whole lot more to do. HTML5, the creative possibilities there, I agree with you. I think the possibilities are slightly limited at this point, but that is where the majority of the audience still sits in feature phone. So it's a catch-22 for you. I think you've got to still make the simple executions work. And I think we kind of just always go, text links, gross, or little 60 by 9 banner. That's not creative. I don't want to do that. But that's where the majority of our inventory still, unfortunately, sits at the moment. But I think programmatic and the move to larger networks will grow more proliferated inventory. I think to get people out of just going to News24. What we're seeing from sorry, I feel like I'm rambling on, but what we're seeing from like the Citizen and smaller newspapers, again, like people are saying print is dead. Print is not dead. The consumption of print is changing. So print, as the Citizen, the Star, all these newspapers, their Mobi sites are growing 10 times faster than their print publications ever grew. People still want to read what's going on there. They just want to read it on a Mobi site. So I think once we start proliferate outside, like just buying into News24 or buying on SuperSport, I think we'll hopefully get wider base of inventory.
I agree. I actually think programmatic rewards great content because great content drives great response and great response drives great CPMs. I also think you need to talk to the guy in the back that was looking for local ideas on how to make this. That's your answer, man.
We have another question here.
I just have a quick question on, Mobi site versus web. Do you think something like a responsive design site would actually bridge that gap a little bit?
Are there still websites without responsive design in this market?
Well, we've done it.
I don't think. No website in South Africa should be designed that isn't responsive at the moment. But I still don't think we actually had a really interesting mobile discussion the other morning with a bunch of mobile media owners to ask them, do you think feature phone or Mobi sites as a very kind of layman's based site is still applicable in South Africa? And all of them across the room said absolutely yes. And I think we still kind of just default to if you look at FNB, 95% of their online of online banking is done via USSD, 5% via app. And we still, and of that even smaller amount into their responsive site. So I think we kind of probably missing the boat there. Yes, it needs to be responsive, absolutely. But I think feature phone is still predominantly where the access lies if you're looking at a 5 to 7 LSM,
Cool. Should we move on to statement 2?
Yes, you can read it.
Statement 2. In order to start driving online commerce, we need to develop smarter e-commerce strategies.
Oh.
We need to
Sorry. That's Dutch English, don't you know that?
Yeah.
What I wonder, like I said, we saw the statistics. You see huge proportionate amount of traffic in mobile. Mobile is a challenge. It lacks in e-commerce in terms of conversion, in terms of volume. It's a given fact that you're not going to get around to solving this question or this issue or crack in this case if you want digital to be successful here. So I would like to discuss what opportunities do you see? What do you think has to happen in order to make this work? What do you think, Melissa?
I think we should actually, like I said before, get that budget, be brave and do it. Like you said earlier, you can talk about it in these forums over and over again, but we just need someone to just get it started. Just go do it. What I found is if you start, you've got data to use, you've got insights that you can build, even if it's a trial basis. We need the budget. We need the braver clients to get started. Even if it's selling on Facebook, selling on Instagram, whatever it is, we usually find this coming up as part of a campaign. And it's usually part of a case study. It's saying, by the way, we used Instagram to sell these products. But, what insights did we gather from that? Take those learnings and actually build something. Kyle? Get a mic.
I don't think I need a mic.
You can speak really loud, Kyle.
Hi, Mr. Loud Voice.
He's got such a loud voice.
Cool.
So 2 questions actually.
I think. Oh, sorry. No, for the people in Netherlands.
I think they can hear me as well. So 2 questions. Firstly, what's preventing advertisers from spending money in
things like mobile? I mean, it seems like such an open and shut case. Why are they still preventing that budget flow?
I think the big problem is people are still spending their money on desktop, where there's clearly 32% of
Yeah, but why? Like, why are they doing that? What is the response? Like, when they say let's do desktop, and then you say no, let's do mobile. What is their response? Like, why do they say?
So I think there's two problems that proliferate this. And sorry, just to jump in here. Media agencies are too reliant on AMPS, which for too long has been giving us the wrong data. Which has been
Reliant on?
AMPS, which is our survey that every single marketer and agency in this country uses to define where the channel is that we should be going. And it's been giving us the wrong data for way too long. So it's been touting desktop access and smartphone growing slower than it actually has. So when they ask for the data, they go, okay, cool, we're the 1% in this room, and I sit in meetings like this daily where everybody in the room goes, but I'm on my PC. And you have to say, but you're not, because you're the 1% in this room, right? So when you start actually quoting the facts around how the rest of South Africa accesses the internet, it's wide eye-opening to a lot of them. And because they can't physically do it themselves, the client can't, and 90% of the time the creative agency can't either. Because the creative agency is also stuck in doing it the way they know how to do it, the way an LSM 10 person knows how to make, which is cool HTML5 developed Facebook tab, which is totally effing irrelevant for mobile in South Africa. So I think now that we've got more and more data, and it's a catch-22, right? I need more mobile data because, and then PwC comes out with a report that's 2 years old, thanks. So I think the more education we do to our clients, and that's the thing, education.
Okay, so that actually relates to my second question. Just in response to that gentleman over there, I don't think there is bad inventory. I think that every single person wants something at some point. It's just figuring out how to show that relevant product at the right time to the right, the advertiser at the right time, right, blah, blah, blah. My question is, where does that data come from? I mean, like obviously there's huge sort of discussions around privacy and data collection and things like that, but in an emerging market like South Africa, where does that data come from? Obviously AMP's not working.
But I think there's also a different starting point. Advertisers, and this is why it changed in the Dutch market, advertisers started understanding what mobile can do for them. Mobile is not an extension of desktop, it's not a laptop on a smaller screen. So instead of trying to sell a product, maybe you should have a very different approach to it. Maybe you should have an approach, let's not sell something, let's harvest email addresses, let's start emailing these people and hopefully reach them on a computer while they're at work and hopefully convert them there. So what we see, what changed it in the Dutch market is really the advertisers understanding that mobile should never be an extension of desktop. And I think unless advertisers get that, you will get these roadblocks where advertisers say, well, we have a strategy, it works on desktop, why doesn't it work on mobile? If you have that blind spot and you don't see why it doesn't work, you're never going to get your money there, I guess, at least. It's a different viewpoint, but that's what I think.
Thank you.
Cool, thank you. We have a question. Ladies first. Okay, cool.
Say the next question.
Okay, so I just want to comment on that. So from a client side, I understand the whole e-commerce strategy needs, but you actually need to get the basics right. So fulfillment is a big thing. What I've noticed is we spend all our money on driving e-commerce, but we're not actually fulfilling the client's needs. And I think from a user perspective, how we can grow it is if we have the UX usability going on and getting that right, and then getting your fulfillment correct and going, okay, this is a great experience, I want to do it again, and you're talking to loyal customers who start to talk to their friends, that's how we get it going. I think our biggest problem is we drive all the media to get people to buy online, and then we're not actually fulfilling their expectations. They try once and they go, fuck, that didn't work, don't go back. And this is where I've experienced, I worked at Woolworths and I'm going at Adidas. This is the biggest problem, is that we spend all our money and we're not actually sorting out the core issue of how do we fulfill the user's needs. And that's where we need to start and work backwards. That's how I feel.
So how was your experience? Was your product not delivered?
Did
you never get a product? I want to understand, why is the experience bad? I know you got rat food while you ordered, what did you order? Something else.
So an example is like, say I order food online. I'm expecting it in a day, for instance. There's a certain area I'm expecting between 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock, or 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock. It doesn't get delivered in that time. People have working hours, they have responsibilities, they need someone to be at home. If that is a seamless experience, I go, cool, that's great, I'm going to come back.
Sure.
If it's not, I'm going, this is a shit experience, I'm not coming back to this website. As soon as you get that sorted out, it's exactly the same as I go, okay, I want this red shirt. And I say yes, and I buy it. And 2 days later, they phone me and say, oh, we don't have the red shirt in stock. That's a fuck up. That's the honest truth. That's a fuck up. I'm not going to come back. I'm going to go, well, screw that. I'm not doing it. I'd actually rather take the effort and go in store and see if it's there and do it. So if we get that sorted out, I think that will be a huge step in where we're going. The other thing is that I think the banks have a huge part to play in this. And they are the ones that people trust in terms of putting my card details in. And if we can get the banks working in that area of adding that in as like, this is a trustworthy site, you can do it, I think that's also going to build it. There's these fundamentals that have to be changed before we go and spend millions on driving to e-commerce that doesn't actually convert. It's a big problem. Because in a digital aspect, and we're looking like even against the global guys, we're going, okay, what are we spending? How can we show that we're actually working at it? And then we have to go, okay, what's actually the return on investment? If we can't show return on investment, they're not going to give us the money. It's a bad cycle. So that has to be sorted out from the beginning before we're going to take it seriously.
What I found quite interesting on the e-commerce work that we did for telecoms guys and also one of the local retailers. Some of the research that came out from Millward Brown and Nielsen around local shopper insights is that the majority of South Africans don't shop online or struggle to shop online because they don't know the expectation around around delivery. They don't understand delivery, and the majority of South Africans actually don't have a home address. So the percentage of the market that actually has a physical home address and understanding how the delivery works, because it's not something that we're used to. Again, we are an infantile internet audience. We're not used to that way of shopping. But the majority of the time, as you showed and we were discussing earlier, is that a lot of the time it's the long tail of the shopping experience. You still went to go buy the red shirt in store. It's just a different part of your shopping experience. So again, Google's moment of truth. Like you might have had you had a bad experience, but at the end of the day, that's part of your shopping experience. And I think when you understand the attribution to that, it's possibly just the beginning step of a longer e-commerce process.
Cool. So I guess we can all agree it's a fuck up. So we have one last question, and then we need to move on to statement 3, just for time purposes.
My question, the first part of it is just a statement that effective this month, Google is going to start penalizing mobile search if your client or advertiser doesn't have a mobile site. So obviously that's at least step 1 for us in South Africa, so that we know that, okay, well, we have to get the mobile site online. My question, also possibly it can be interpreted as a statement, is the effect of UX on Mobi sites, and also the fact that mobile is such a challenging platform and device. What do you guys think about how South Africa is doing in that arena? And do you see us adapting to this, or do you see a struggle going forward in regards to making the user more comfortable with buying on mobile and applying e-commerce to mobile?
What do you think, Melissa?
Yeah, I can answer that. I think from experience, we're still very far behind when it comes to UX, especially on e-commerce. I think when it comes to mobile, people seem to think it's, because it's so natural to us, we're still using it as users at the end of the day. It's so hard for our designers to upskill themselves when it comes to UX. I think there's a huge knowledge gap. And I think we definitely need the training and the expertise when it comes to design and UX for mobile especially. There were a few examples. I went to visit iHub in Nairobi a few months ago, and they gave me a really cool example about how a banking institution and a user were having the same problem with their account. They have a UX team where they brought the CEO of the bank to sit at the table with an ordinary mobile user. They got the CEO to set up an account, and they said, here's a feature phone, you try and set up an account on your bank. And he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it, and he failed to understand why he needed to invest in the actual proper development of his app, because he just wanted the quick and simple way of doing it. But when he sat in front of a user who physically struggled, and when he tried to do it himself, and he couldn't actually set up his own account on his own app, on his own bank, it was like a moment of truth as well. I think we need the knowledge. There's definitely room for improvement when it comes to UX. Even simple things like having the button working, having browser compatibility. We're actually still finding this a problem when we're getting clients that are coming over to our account. We give them audits, we audit the whole site. Fundamental problems are wrong with the actual mobile site. Either it's just been responsive, it's scaled down from a desktop site, it's still built desktop first, and mobile is just an afterthought, thinking, okay, we have mobile users, let's build a little Mobi site. No one's building mobile first and scaling up. It's the 32% and the 60% problem. And it's definitely evident in UX for mobile. So there's a long way for us to go, and I'm not sure how to solve that problem.
I think, sorry if I can jump in before the funny man. I think that there's a problem where for too long we've had creative agencies and in the creative aspect building the platforms, and they build them for awards and they build them for prettiness. And I'm just going to be very frank, but at the end of the day, and this is why I continue to love taking stuff from DQ&A, because it's around acquisition, right? Acquisition and functionality. And at the end of the day, the only people who have UX right most of the time is a bank or an e-commerce platform. Why? Because they're built around acquisition and functionality. But any other brand, they're built by a creative agency, and so it's built to make it pretty, not to be functional. And I can't win awards for functionality. I can win awards for pretty sites. And that's why we continue to build desktop and Flash and all of this crap that none of our consumers can access because it's pretty and it wins me awards. And I think that's, unfortunately, we're still way too focused. We seem to have a huge focus on that. So yeah, the UX game comes very last and the Luri comes first.
Okay. Cool. We have to move on to statement 3 just for...
Let's just do one more question. I think we're running way out of time. Let's do one really good last question.
Okay, and then skip statement 3.
It has to be, but it has to be a really good question.
Don't make it a crappy question. No, it's going to be a crappy question. Don't.
Pressure's on you, man.
It has to be really good.
Gentleman over here. Do you really have a question? Or? Oh, you do. Okay, cool.
Where's the bathroom?
Just with the discussion around mobile, in terms of maybe specifically on the RTB space, are there any restrictions around, the tracking that you're used to on desktop versus any other platform? Is there anything that's preventing us from really taking advantage of that channel? More on the specific side, like the tracking, creative side.
I think everything has been built. That's the advantage. I mean, the advantage as an emerging economy you have here, you basically have, and I think we are almost all victims of that in this room. We talk about all the e-commerce stuff, but there's people without a home address. What are we talking about? We need to get the fundamentals right. And I think that's something we just discussed. And I think it's the same with this. All the technology is there. All the tracking is there. You can do anything on this phone. Anything you want. Does it mean advertisers will understand? Does it mean agencies will be able to execute it? But most importantly, will it work in a campaign context? And for me, I look at performance. For you, you look at creative. I don't know. It can look nice, but is it going to do anything? Great question. I don't know how you see that, but I don't think there's any limiting factors from a technology/creative perspective. The challenge sits somewhere else, I think.
Yeah, no, I mean, every component is already created, whether we're using an international piece or using a local piece of tracking. No, the tracking, the code is there, the ability to multi-platform attribution is there from certain aspects, Google's and Facebook's, and even some local providers are allowing that. So yeah, it's definitely there. I don't think that there's a problem. A few of my staff can attest to the fact that we seem to have problems with some people implementing the tracking code. But yeah, definitely not on the technologies there, yeah.
No, I agree. I think one of the problems I'm finding is the tracking is fine, but the level of reporting and the level of understanding of the reports is another level of understanding. It's another whole other discussion.
You need giraffes.
Yeah, we need
giraffes.
Giraffes. And on that note, thank you. Thank you very much. Can we have a round of applause? Cool. So we would like to thank the sponsors, Red Bull and Uber and Doubletree Hilton. We have literally just 2 more minutes. We have some prizes to give away. Uber have given us 250 Rand vouchers that are going to... It's a fuck up! Yay! What's not a fuck up is that you're getting this Uber voucher, well done. And RTB. Thank you. Comments from Uber. Then, last but not least, we have 3 bottles of champagne to give away so that you can go home tonight and send drunk voice notes to your ex. I miss you.
That was to kick it off.
Okay, no, never mind. First person, is there Shabir Jacobs? Yeah? No? Okay, screw you.
It's gonna take a while.
Okay, Maria Schroeder? No? Okay. Katja Lakarski? Yeah, please. Yeah. Cool. That was the sound of the elephant, which is the topic of next time. Maurits Vermeulen? Nee. Rachma Holland? No, I think that's the company's name. Oh no, that is not. Rachma Holland? No. Okay, swiftly along. Zintle Similela? Yay! Hi! Yay! Push, push. There you go. Cool. Eugene Duplessis? Yay! So the next online Tuesday is the 9th of June. I just want to make sure the same venue. Hey? 9th of June, same time, same place. And you never know, the next Paul Gates might be in the audience, just like the next Trevor Noah might be your MC tonight. Who knows? Find out at 9th of June. And please join us. We're going to drink like giraffes now in the foyer. Please join us for a complimentary drink. I've been your MC, Skull Besaidnout. Thank you very much.
It was a great event here at Online Tuesday. It was very good to hear some insights from Michael, who obviously is very experienced in the programmatic agency, and yeah, I think the insights from the Netherlands and the US and applying them to South Africa are quite interesting, and I learned a lot.
We loved it. Our Tuesdays for the next 6 months are fully booked. We're here for every Tuesday. We enjoyed it. We enjoyed Scott, the MC. It was an amazing event. Very informative, very detailed. We love it.
I think what struck home is that the message that a lot of the people developing the advertising for mobile, the creative, the way it works, the functionality, are the people who live on their desktop computers, and that's their reality of advertising, of the online space, where the greater segment of South Africa lives on their mobile phone. And I'm yet to find an advert on a mobile phone that grabs my attention. Most of them irritate me, and I think it's the same, possibly not just in South Africa, but globally. I think whoever finds a way to actually speak to South Africans in a South African way, where you grab their attention, where they don't feel like they're being intruded on, or they're the ones who are winning the race.